Okay, this is part three. I deleted the original part three because people started getting louder and louder, and I'm sorry, I'm not gonna delete anything else. So fuck it, you're gonna have to deal with the background noise. Okay, so as I said, when martial arts started becoming more of an entertainment value versus martial art, it loses its validation. People stop training for protection and start training on, well, this looks cool and that looks cool, and let's see what this looks like if I do this. And again, like I said, for all of us who are following martial artists, if the martial arts aren't telling you the truth, then you probably want to keep that in mind as entertainment versus real martial arts. I'm going to do both. I'm going to teach you martial arts, but I'm going to teach you the truth about it. And I'm also going to use it as a career stepping stone. But I'm not going to forget the validation of what does what is real and what is not, which is why I have a 70-30 policy, because 70% of what you learn in the dojo only works in the dojo, and that 30% that you know will only work in the street. And you need to keep that shit in mind, because this is how the real world works. When you get into a fight, if you are a wrestler, that is your profession. You are paid to roll around in a squared circle. You make millions of dollars, millions of fans, and everybody loves you, and you go about your day. Versus when you are fighting in the street, no one gives a flying fuck who you are until that fight's over and you're standing in victory or laying in defeat. If you're standing in victory, everybody wants to know your fucking name. If you're standing in defeat, no one gives a flying fuck about you until they post that shit on the internet and it's like, hey, y'all remember this guy? He got his ass whooped 7 ways from fucking Sunday and then he got whooped again. And then there's those guys that once they beat your ass, they kick you while you're down because they have no honor. Alright? If I got you down and you stay down, we're done. But if I walk away and you decide to jump up and attack me, I'm going to end you. It's just that simple because I gave you the chance to end it. And a lot of people don't understand, take that L and go away. Or, if you want to forfeit your life to someone who really knows martial arts, who can really disembowel your shit, then that's your fault. Now, if I beat you and I beat you so bad that you leaking and you down, you can't get up. I don't want it to go that far. But if you wouldn't stop and I had to stop you, then that's what I had to do. Which is what the purpose of martial arts is for. It is brutal, it is honest, and it is unjustifiably violent. You may not want to hear that. Most people don't tell you that shit because it brings in the customers. Customers want to learn martial arts, they want to learn the cookie cutter side of that shit. So you come in, you get your little gi, and you earn your little black belt, and yay, I can break a block. And then you go outside. And all of this, and other shit that you see on TV. You go against somebody who's done all that, has never earned a black belt, and you got a black belt. You got like stripes. You got degrees of black belts. But your ass laying over there in that damn dirt. You know why you're laying in that dirt? Because you've been training in the dojo to fight in the dojo. First time I took training in a dojo, I was trained in the dojo in freestyle karate to fight in the fucking streets. There was no gis. There was no bullshit. A simple broomstick was a bow staff. Anything else was becoming part of your skill set. I learned this for free from the age of 7 to the age of 10. That's the one policy I never, ever got rid of. I did not take martial arts to get a fucking fancy uniform and a belt. Do not disrespect the uniform or the belt with the words that I just said. I respect the uniform. I respect the belt. But I live in reality. I can't do Tosan and Tungu and earn a belt. But I guarantee you, if we could fight for our belts, I'd be top of the class. Because I know how to fight before I ever learned karate or kung fu or any martial art whatsoever. Because I learned in fighting at the age of 6 to the age of 12 that getting hit fucking sucks. I learned in karate that boards and bricks have nothing to do with martial arts. That's just a power game and politics so that you have ranking structure in your school. But they don't tell you that if you don't hit that brick properly, you can break your hand, because your hand and your feet are the easiest bones to break. When did I learn that? I learned that from a Kempo instructor, because the harder you hit someone, the more damage you do to yourself. Kempo teaches you how to hit correctly with doing damage with blocking, which are also strikes, versus what karate and kung fu has taught me. Kung fu has taught me how to hit you directly. Karate has taught me how to control power. Karate is about power, Kung Fu is about directness, Kempo is about being precise with power and directness. I hope that taught you something. But once this stuff started becoming an entertainment value, once this stuff started becoming more about the money and less about defending or protecting or the art of violence or assassination, yeah, everything has a dark side. I'm going to tell you about the dark side. You don't like it? This video stops for you right here. When you go to that dojo and you spend 6 weeks learning how to throw a horse punch or a regular punch or hammer fist or horse fist, it's the same thing. You know, so you're here, boom, boom, boom. You notice I'm protecting when I come back with my block, boom, boom, boom. I'm protecting, you know. Then you start going this way versus this way and this way. When you start learning these things, until it dawns on you, hey, you know, I can get paid for this. I can be a superstar with this. Until that dawns on you, you know, it still has its value. It still has its validation. And you will continue to train. When it stops getting fun for you, you'll go pick another art. Or you will try to excel. I couldn't get a black belt in Taekwondo. I couldn't get a yellow belt in Taekwondo. Because I didn't know how to do katas. When I first started learning martial arts, I didn't know what the fuck a kata was. Because I was taught, this is a punch. This is a block. This is where you hit. This is how you hit. Versus when I started taking Taekwondo at 16, 17, maybe 15, 16, I don't remember, but the 90s was a long time ago. When I started taking Taekwondo, and I started doing Tosan and Tungu and Naharate, which is Taekwondo Japanese style according to the sensei who committed seppuku, these things varied, you know, so you have to adapt with them. And I, for sure, was never taught katas until I took Taekwondo. When I was taught Kempo, I wasn't taught katas. When I was taught Naharate, we were still doing katas. When I was taught Taekwondo, we were doing katas. When I was taking capoeira from a capoeira person, there was no katas. There was just a jinga. When I did animal styles, there were no katas. So therefore, and I didn't get to teach the full animal styles. I only got taught like probably one form of each animal style. One form of mantis, one form of snake, one form of crane. And if you notice any of my videos, they all bleed together. Because all martial art moves bleed together. They don't teach you that shit. When you take Taekwondo, they don't teach you the difference between a Taekwondo round and a Kempo round. They don't teach you that the hurricane kick and the tornado kick are the same thing. Now, I know you may think I'm off track, but no, I'm bringing it back around right now in a cute little bow. When this stuff started becoming entertainment, you got two forms of Taekwondo. You got Olympic Taekwondo, you got regular Taekwondo. Same thing with Kempo, same thing with Judo, same thing with Jiu-Jitsu, and then you got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which made its debut in the UFC thing. Alright? So once that started happening, once people started realizing that people could start utilizing this shit in street fights, sanctioned street fights, so we're going to put them in a cage so that you can compete to make sure your skills are up to par versus these belts that everybody has. Because when you have tournament fighting with the belts, black belts don't fight red belts. Unless you're like last level red belt, basically a black belt, or you're a red belt with one black stripe. Depends on the art that you're being taught and how the school system works. So, because you know, you have black belts, or when I was taking Taekwondo, we had first degree white belt, and you got a yellow stripe after you got your first degree white belt. And then you didn't go any more degrees in white belt. You went straight to yellow belt. Then you had second degree, third degree, yellow belt. And then you went to green because you had your green stripes on your belt. Sometimes they sewed them on. Sometimes they just gave you a new fucking belt with them already built on. I never got that fucking far until sparring day. And sparring day is like, I've never seen anybody who can't do a kata but can fight. And I was like, well, I'm that enigma because that's my belt, in case any of you freaks think that's something else. I'm that guy, you know. If I can watch your movements, I can beat you. It's not that difficult because that's what I was taught how to do. I never joined any kind of martial arts school to earn a belt. I had to explain that to my sensei who passed, and the same thing I had to explain to the sensei that taught me qigong. I only taught qigong to humble my inside because I have a burning fire of fighting. So she was teaching me qigong to calm the inner me versus the angry outer me, to give me the balance that I seek. Now, like I said, when it becomes more about money, the fighters that fight for money get big wallets. I wanted to be a professional fighter. Way back in 1993, when they didn't really have a weight class, the UFC told me get my weight up because I was 125 pounds. Actually, I was 120 pounds. I wrote them a note. Technically, it was an email, but it was a note. And then they sent me a postcard. Get your weight up. Same thing with ISK. Same thing with Havoc. Same thing with Rec. You know, nope, we ain't got your weight class. We ain't got your weight class. And after I get into the Army at 37, now all of a sudden I'm 135 pounds, and now they have my 120 weight pound class. But I'm face deep in Sand Hill. I can't get a discharge until I got fucked up. Now I have a hip replacement. No way in hell I can become a professional fighter now. No, at all. It's not going to happen. I need another hip replacement. So I'm now going to fucking throw my life on the line for something that I enjoy outside of making kung fu movies because that's a little bit safer. And I'm not going to be able to do wushu anymore because of the hip replacement. So now I can't do my tornado kick landing. Jackie Chan does it in Rumble in the Bronx. But anyway, I was really good at that landing, and now I can't do it because the leg that I used to land on is the one that they replaced the hip. Okay? Now, moving on. When it comes down to it, it loses its validation because you now have it as a sport. It is no longer serving its initial purpose other than the violent side of it. Because there are a lot of people who get overzealous in these sports and forget that there's a thing called good sportsmanship. So instead of stopping after you tap or stopping after we've knocked you out, some people go that extra fucking mile, which goes back to it's a sport now. It's lost its validation. The honor has been taken out of it, and things have gone south from there. Once you know that's happened, then you know things have gone wrong. Kung Fu, Wing Chun, not so much sport. Wushu, more of a sport entertainment. Taekwondo, Kempo, Jiu-Jitsu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo. All of these have become sports. Some of them are Olympic sports, some not. I believe Taekwondo, Judo, and Jiu-Jitsu are Olympic sports now. But I'm not sure about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But again, you know, you have to understand that once these things became sports, they lost their validation. And I'm going to have to yell at somebody real fucking quick. So who gets cussed out first? No, you're not sorry. Keep this damn door closed if you got to be sorry. I apologize for that. I'm sick and tired of having to go through this crap. That's why I need my own studio, but I'm poor and I'm broke. And had I had success 20 some odd years ago with the UFC giving me a job, I'd be on a whole nother level. Probably with cauliflower ear. Anyway, when a martial art becomes a sport, the validation drops by 1,000%. Because people forget why they took the martial art in the first place. I took martial arts to become a better fighter. Not gonna lie about it. I was getting bullied at school. I was getting bullied at home. But most importantly, I was forced to fight, come hell or high water, because I was a tiny ass little guy. Ain't nothing changed. I'm still a tiny ass little guy. When I joined the Army, I just became a little bit more lethal than I was before I got there, only to find out that the Army only made me dangerous. I was lethal before because the shit I learned in the Army is going to get your ass kicked. Alright? I learned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the Army. So this is the part where I piss off everybody who does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I am not knocking you for doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Understand that shit right now before you understand the next shit that comes out my mouth. I'm not knocking you. But I am going to tell everyone here what you're not telling them. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu works very well if you can get that motherfucker on the ground. If you are fighting someone with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, when y'all go to the gym and y'all roll, somebody's got to get tackled. Not on my watch. If you're coming at me with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I promise you're going to eat a knee. You may get me down, but you're going to regret taking me to the ground in the first place. Because I'm not in with that ground and pound shit. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has a lot of positioning and control. Alright? Regular standing martial arts, there's no positioning and control. There's no or go. That's pretty much it. If someone's throwing a jab at you for standing martial arts, you know you're going to block it and you're going to strike it if you want to do Kung Fu that way. Or you're going to block it, break it, and strike it if you're going to do Kung Fu and Kempo that way. Or if you're just going to do karate, block it and you're going to counter. So, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you have to come and scoop me. Now, if the first round is a takedown, and now we got to start where who's going to be on the dominant top position, or top mount, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. If I'm on bottom mount, and I got a phone call, God damn it, I'm going to have to make another part to this.